everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. Today I finally have my uni experience and advice video. This video is mainly aimed at people that are about to start uni, new first years, but if you're about to go into second year or even your final year and you feel like you want to make it the best, or maybe you didn't make the most of your last year at uni, then this video is definitely for you. I've also included some advice on placement year if some of you are thinking about doing that. Okay, to start I'm going to be talking about my first year uni experience and what I learned along the way, but if you're not interested in that and you're just here for the advice and all of the tips, then I'll leave a timestamp here below and you can skip to that part of the video. Okay, so a little bit of background. I study at University of Leicester and I just finished my first year there, and honestly it was such an amazing experience. It was definitely a really big turning point in my life and it changed me a lot, as well as making me learn a lot that wasn't academic. Okay, so just before uni started, I decided to re-download Facebook and join all of the WhatsApp group chats. So I joined my freshers group chat, my accommodation group chat. There was an Indian freshers group chat, so I joined that one too, and there was one for my course. Joining my course WhatsApp group was the best decision I made because it gave me the chance to make 1 or 2 friends before I actually started uni. So I was talking regularly to the people in that chat a couple of weeks before uni, and then a girl on that WhatsApp group chat ended up messaging me privately on WhatsApp just to introduce herself and get to know me. And honestly, I wish I did that with more people. That's a really good tip if you're about to start uni and you're not going with anybody you know, because honestly me and this girl were talking for hours one evening, just getting to know each other, and we really kind of bonded. So yeah, anyways, I basically made this one friend before I started uni, and then moving in day, I had just moved in and my parents left and I was all alone, and I finally decided, you know what, this is it. I'm done being shy, I'm done being antisocial and just sticking to my 2 or 3 friends. I need to step out of my comfort zone and really make sure this is the best experience ever. I don't care if I have to fake it till I make it, which is basically what I did. I just pretended I was that person that was super confident and could just walk up to a random stranger, introduce themselves and make friends with them. That is what I decided to do, and once again it was the best decision I ever made. So when I moved into my flat there was only one other girl there, so I quickly just put all of my stuff in my room. I didn't decorate it, I didn't even pack my clothes away. To be honest, it took me about a week before I actually got around to doing that. But I went into the kitchen and I was talking to this flatmate and we were speaking for about 5 hours, just getting to know each other. And then I turned around and I made a decision which pretty much defined my whole first year at uni. And I said to this flatmate, let's go and knock on every flat door on our floor, the floor above us and the floor below us, and host a pre-drinks, because there was no fresh events on that night. It was starting the next day. And I said, everyone's in the same boat as us, no one knows anyone, let's just invite them all to our pre's and it just gives us a chance to make friends. This was terrifying for me, being the really shy person I was, and it was a really big step for me to take, but I just pushed myself to do it anyway. So she came along with me, which made it a little bit easier, and we were just knocking on everyone's doors and we were like, hey, we're hosting a pre's at 9 tonight, please come along. So 9 o'clock hits and I walk into our kitchen and there are all of these strangers there, and it was really awkward at first, I'm not gonna lie. No one had really drank anything, everyone was really nervous and shy, but after about 30-40 minutes everyone was getting a bit tipsy, we were all getting to know each other, and majority of the people that showed up, I'd say about half of them, ended up being our best friends for the rest of the year. And I'm so grateful that I made that decision, because some of the people in that group are really like my lifelong friends. Even throughout this lockdown we've been FaceTiming all the time and checking up on each other. Okay, so enough about the first day, now let's move on to the rest of freshers. So as a group we were going to the freshers fair on campus, we were going clubbing all the time, but one thing we did which really helped us grow closer as friends in such a short amount of time was we hosted our own motives and our own plans and our accommodations. So we'd cook for each other, we'd go to somebody's flat and we'd all eat lunch together or dinner together, we'd host game nights, and we'd also do movie nights, and we'd also invite like newer people as well, just so we could continue to make more people and help the group grow. So we continued to do this for the first 2 weeks, and to be honest, by the end of it we pretty much all knew each other really well, and we were all close and comfortable enough to like walk into each other's rooms and wake each other up every morning. Okay, so now let's talk about lectures. I was determined to not miss a single lecture in my whole first year, which really did not happen. Like, my attendance was not good, but it was first year and I definitely prioritized having fun, which I don't regret. I still got into second year, I still got good grades, and I really think that in first year you need to work hard but play harder. You can actually make really close friends when you sit down next to a random person, just turn around and introduce yourself and talk to them. I am really shy, so I didn't do this, but I did it once. I think it was right at the end of first semester, and I was sitting next to this guy and I sat down. I didn't even look at him, right? I was just focused on my laptop and listening to the lecturer. And then the lecturer says, turn to the person you're sitting next to and discuss whatever we were talking about that day. And that never happens. Like, you never have to do group work or talk to people in my lectures anyway. So I turned around and I looked at this person for the first time. And he was actually so nice, and now we're really, really close friends. He's introduced me to all of the people he's friends with. We joined a society together, and if that lecturer never said you have to talk to that person sitting next to you, I never would have met him. And honestly, we have so much in common and we really get along. So I definitely recommend talking to people that you're sitting next to, because you just never know if you might find your best friend there. Okay, so now let's talk about actual uni work and studying. So although I was at the club pretty much every single week, I still managed to stay on top of all of my assignments and my essays. I always try to do it well in advance. I will say there are a few times where I literally have to do an all-nighter just to get it in, which I do not recommend, but I would say the workload was pretty easy and easy to manage whilst juggling a bunch of other stuff. So that was a brief little story about my first year and how I handled it, especially at the start. There is a lot more to say, but this video is more about advice. If you would like an in-detail story time of my uni experience, I would be happy to do that, because I'm not gonna lie, a lot went down. Okay, so now let's talk about uni advice and tips. So number one is about money, of course. I'm gonna say this right now, budgeting is actually so easy. I know a lot of people that did struggle a lot with money and hit that overdraft. I was not one of them. My biggest tips to you would be set a monthly budget or a weekly budget. I set a weekly budget, so I was never spending more than £60 a week. It will vary on the student finance you're given. I was given the minimum student finance and I still made it work. As long as you're always aware of how much you're spending a week, you will be fine. And also make sure you have a rough estimate of how much you're going to spend a week on your food shopping. Freshers flu is real. I did not think it was, but it is the worst thing ever. Like, I sounded like a man for 2 weeks because of freshers flu. So make sure you bring medicine with you. Make sure you have a rail card. It will save you so much money and stress. A lot of people I know ended up joining Santander Bank because they actually give you a free one. I already had one, but if you don't, Santander is the way to go. Focus on having fun. Make sure you prioritize this in first year, because second year and third year, from what I've heard, are really, really hard. Try to walk everywhere. Now, my Uniocom was not in the center of the city. It was a little bit further out, and because of this, I used to Uber everywhere, and this was the worst mistake I made in first year, because that's where all of my money was going. And once I realized that, I stopped and I started walking to High Cross in Leicester. If I wanted to go to a cafe or something, I would walk there, and yeah, it would take about 20-25 minutes, but it was worth it, and it really does save you a lot of money. This needs to be said. You are not going to find your wife or your husband at uni. I'm sorry. It's really, really, really unlikely. So you need to put all of your effort into making lifelong friends and being a better you and making memories, and honestly just making the most of your uni experience. If you're meant to find your wife or your husband at uni, they will come to you. You will attract that anyway. Just don't go around looking for it. And also just remember, your education will never leave you, sis. So make sure you're focusing on that instead. First year might not count towards your final grade, but attendance does matter to an extent. If you want to do placement, they do look at your attendance, so make sure you're staying on top of that and don't let it drop too low. And on top of that, make sure you're going to as many lectures as you can. Don't be one of these people and let your attendance drop to 3%, because yeah, going to lectures is long, but catching up is even longer. Trust me, I've been there. When you do go to lectures, try to sit at the front. I know this isn't ideal and you will be really tempted to sit right at the back, but I promise you, if you sit at the front, you will be more likely to pay attention and actually take in the information. Everyone sitting at the back is falling asleep. Don't be one of them. Okay, here's my favorite tip. This is what I did all throughout first year and what I'm going to continue doing for second and third year, and this is take pictures and videos of everything. Now in my case, I took more videos. My idea was, I'm gonna vlog from my first day moving into uni until graduation. I used to take 30-second videos here and there of like going to the club, prees, cooking dinner with my friends, having movie nights and stuff. So now I literally have clips of everything I did in first year, and then I combined it all together to make all of these videos. And once I graduate, I will literally have a video from moving in, finishing first year, starting second year, finishing that, and graduating. So it will kind of be like a little movie to watch of my whole university experience, and it will be something you can look back on for the rest of your life. Uni can be a very, very lonely place, so you need to swallow your pride and just go up to that stranger and introduce yourself. It's really hard to focus on lectures, and on top of that, you can't ask any questions or actually interact with what you're being taught. Seminars are your chance to do this. It took me a while, but I finally started answering all of the questions that the seminar leader was asking to the class. In seminars, I used to talk to my group I was working with, the seminar leader themselves, and honestly it really did help me understand the material we were being taught a lot better. Be aware of the people you're surrounding yourself with, your really inner close circle, their habits, their values, and what they like to do, because a bad company can really corrupt good character. Befriend the serious candidates if you are not one. This will really, really help. It means you'll have a study buddy to go to the library with. It also means you'll always have someone to ask questions to if you're not understanding the work, and it will just motivate you to work a little bit harder if you do have friends that you see are working really hard. Meal planning is a really good tip. I didn't really do this. What I did for food in first year was I used to come home every weekend, and then my grandma would make me a bunch of Indian food to keep in the freezer throughout the week, and then all I'd have to do was heat it up and eat it. So I actually had really good healthy home food at uni. I didn't really have to cook or buy a lot from the grocery store. So if you have that luxury of being able to go home regularly when you're at uni, I would definitely say do that. If you don't have this option, make sure you're meal planning, and once a week, maybe on Sundays, just plan out what you're going to eat. Maybe make something beforehand like pasta, keep it in the fridge just to heat up, because it will make your life so much easier. And I promise, when you've had a full day of lectures and seminars and socializing, and then you're going to go to a club later, you will either order takeout because it's really easy and that's going to hurt your bank account, or you'll make something really unhealthy which will make you gain weight, or you just won't eat. Okay, I sometimes used to use a third option, and this leads us on to the next tip. Do not skip your dinner before a night out, okay, because you will black out, and I used to do that all the time. Okay, so make sure you're not drinking on an empty stomach. A routine will really keep you sane and help you be on top of everything you need to manage when you're at uni. If uni gets too much sometimes, which trust me, occasionally it will, go and visit your friends at their unis. I've done this, and honestly it's so much fun to be able to meet and mingle with your friends, uni friends. And also, you're not going to find your best friend straight away. I feel like most of the time you will meet a lot of people, and you're constantly socializing and mingling, and you might have a really large group of friends, but I feel like finding that one best friend who you tell everything to and you really trust, that takes time to find. So just be patient, and as I've been saying throughout this entire video, just keep socializing, because if you don't find them in first year, you might find them in second or third year. Okay, so now let's talk about placement advice. This is for those of you who are considering doing it, or you're just on the fence as to whether or not you should do it, and my advice to you is to just do it. There are literally no disadvantages to doing it. Don't be one of these people that decide they don't want to do a placement just because their friends aren't doing it and they want to graduate at the same time as them. Your friends are not going to employ you after uni, so just do a placement. You'll get really good experience on your CV. You'll make useful connections which might help you once you graduate. It could help you make important decisions as to which industry you want to go into and where you want to work after uni. It will give you a break from the stress of education. You won't have to revise or stay in the library and do all-nighters for a year. You'll be able to earn money, and it will also teach you really important lessons like time management and actually forcing a routine on yourself. Okay, so that was my uni experience and advice video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it helped you out. If it did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and let me know if you do want a story time of my uni experience, because trust me, it was very wild. I make videos every single week, so I will see you guys next Sunday.